Hello everybody, and I am back. It is a beautiful sunny day. Spring is right around the corner, and I have been getting so much inspiration lately, especially since the days are longer, so I can film for longer. But anyway, today I want to share with you something that I make all the time. It is such a huge hit, and it's so easy. It is a one-pan wonder, I'm going to call it. And it's one of those dishes where there are like 3 to 4 key elements that you really want to have, but everything else is interchangeable. So originally, this is my go-to for a vegetarian pick. So if you guys are having a vegetarian over for dinner, or if you don't feel like eating meat, or you just don't have it in the refrigerator, I highly recommend making this. It is so easy, and you'll still feel satisfied and full. It is low carb. It is good for you. It's heavily Mediterranean inspired. And so I'm going to go over the ingredients with you. We are going to chop everything up, get it on a pan, get it roasted, and then it's done. Simple as that. And if you guys are new here, my name is Alexandra. I love to garden. I love to cook. I mainly cook low carb dinners. Low carb snacks, just low carb in general is sort of my go-to for my diet. So if you guys are interested in that, please hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll keep making these videos. So let's get started. All right, so we are going to start with chopping up our onion. You want to use one small red onion. Obviously, this one's pretty big, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use half of it. And basically what you want to do is just cut it up into chunks, and I'll show you what that looks like. So we're going to cut half of this. Okay, guys, so this is what I mean by a chunk. So it's a little square, like 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch square. Easy peasy. Next up is our vegetables. So you don't have to chop up your vegetables, and if you're going to use Brussels sprouts, if you have the little teeny tiny ones, you don't need to cut them in half. If you get the big ones, let's say roughly that size compared to this size, you're going to want to cut them in half. Otherwise, what's going to happen is everything else is going to cook, and these are going to be way too hard. So I'm just going to trim these, and I'm not going to have them. These on the vine cherry tomatoes aren't they so gorgeous? These were grown in the US, probably in a greenhouse, but I just think they're absolutely beautiful. So I bought a 12-ounce container. I'm gonna use roughly 8 ounces of tomatoes. And I'll go over the quantity with you guys. I'm just cooking for 2 tonight. And so if you want, you need to double all of the ingredients that I'm using. And I'll have them all listed, obviously, in the box below. But what I'm going to do with these is I'm actually going to cut them in half. You don't have to do that, but I don't like when tomatoes explode in my mouth. And actually, they'll get a little bit more caramelized and sugary if you cut them in half first. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut them in half first. So the next step is cutting up our beautiful block of feta. Now, if you're not normally a fan of feta, I highly encourage you to still try this recipe. And the reason being is that roasting it in the oven takes away some of that tanginess. It's not nearly as tangy once it's been roasted. And it also has a little bit of a creamier consistency. So it really changes into almost an entirely different type of cheese. So what we're going to do is we are just going to cut it up roughly 1/2-inch strips. They should look like this. Oops. And it's okay if they fall apart. They're going to. So they should look about like this size here. We're going to tuck them into those vegetables when we're done slicing. Last but not least, you want to get your lemon. You want to get a pretty big lemon because we're going to use half on the tray and the other half is going to be squirted over the top. So you just want to make very thin slices, and these slices are going to be tucked into our sheet pan of vegetables. So funny enough, this actually gets tender enough to eat. So I actually eat my slices. My husband does not. He pushes them to the side. All right. Aren't they beautiful? They're going to impart so much flavor. You really don't want to skimp on the lemon. So again, I'll just show you. I tend to put the lemon peels underneath the vegetables so that the vegetables get fully roasted. Because remember, we are going to put some of that lemon juice directly over the top. So we're not as worried about getting these completely roasted. I'd rather have the veggies nice and roasted. Technically, I guess you could have done this first. It probably would have been a little easier to do that. Okay. All right. Isn't that so pretty? It's going to be so delicious, you guys. Can you all believe we are almost done? All I'm going to do now is add our shrimp. And then I'm going to add the olive oil, the salt, pepper, and the cumin, and that's it. What you want to do now, and the reason why I'm talking about this before I put the shrimp on there, is right now you want to put your oven, preheat it to 400 degrees. And then it's going to go in there for only 20 minutes. No shame in picking off the shrimp if you feel like the shrimp is going to be overdone. It cooks very quickly. Now, the reason why you're going to put the shrimp on the same pan and not a separate pan to cook is because that shrimp flavor is really going to add a lot of flavor to this dish. Not a shrimp fan? Don't do that. You can roast some chicken, toss that on there. Again, like I said in the very beginning of the video, you could also just leave this vegetarian, add a low-carb pasta, and you've got a really, really delicious dinner. Okay, guys, so we'll do that, and then I'll be right back. And that is it, you guys. My quick and easy one-pan wonder. You can top this off with some fresh herbs, maybe a little bit more cracked pepper, and you're good to go. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be back soon. Have a great St. Patrick's Day, and I will see you soon.